Good morning, students. Today's lesson is from Economics, Unit 3, Food Security and Nutrition. So, as per the topic, let me give you some values regarding the topic. While I'm telling about the values regarding the topic, you people would have understood about what I'm going to talk. Yes, it is about the pandemic disease, COVID 19. So, in order to prevent your body from the disease, not only from this disease, from various other diseases, you need to eat healthier and be hygienic. Healthier and hygienic. So, these are the two essential things which you all need to prevent yourself from the diseases, any other diseases. So, healthy in the sense is nothing but to eat all green leafy vegetables, dark colored veggies, nuts, etc. So if you are taking them in a right proportion, your body will be strong enough to fight against the disease. So eat healthy and stay fit, children. So let us go to the topic, today's lesson, food security and nutrition. So food security, nutrition. From the name, you can understand that we are going to take about food as well as the nutrition. So if you eat good food, the nutritive value of the foods will be maintained in your body. So your body will be healthy as well as you will be having a sound mind, isn't it? So food is defined as it is a substance that people eat and drink to maintain life and growth. Food is nothing but even water is also a food. You need to drink water, isn't it? You have to stay fit. So it is nothing but the people eat and drink to maintain life and growth. So food security is nothing but, so what I said before is called as food. So now food security means that a person's ability to eat enough, stay active and lead a healthy life. So eat enough is nothing but you cannot eat everything, more and more you cannot eat, only how much your body needs, your stomach needs, till that you'll be eating. So that is called as eat enough. So when you eat enough, you'll be staying active and you'll be having a healthy life. So this is the meaning of food security. So while we are learning about food security, so there are three major components of food as well as nutrition security, very important basic components. So these components are called as availability, access and absorption. Availability of food, access to food and absorption of food. Availability is nothing but how much the food has been available, that is physically how much it has been available, that is in desired quantities. Food will be available in the quantity. Sometimes stocks will be changed, so sometimes food may not be available and sometimes imports may not be there. So all those things comprises of availability of food. So next comes the access to food. So access to food is nothing but the purchasing power. So how the people, how they are purchasing, the power of purchasing, and this purchasing power is closely linked with the capabilities, that is how much they are capable of buying these food, as well as the employment opportunities for them to earn money for gaining these food. So these are called as access to food. And the last one is absorption. Absorption is nothing but how much of food is consumed, that is ability to biologically utilize the food consumed. Those are called as absorption. So next comes the availability and access of food grains. So food security of a people, it's not only dependent on the quantity of the food available, but also the ability of the people to purchase and to stay in a healthy environment. So after independence in our country, after independence, India chose to adopt a planned developmental model. So these people, that is all the countries, they wanted to have their production of food grains more and more. So they have planned some developmental models will be there. So these countries, they are thinking how to increase food production with that of the increased population. So you all know that as day by day the population has been increased and the production of food is not enough for this population. So all the countries are thinking about to increase the food production. The American administration and the organizations like Ford Foundation, they formulated a plan to increase food production by introducing high yielding varieties of wheat and rice, that is HYV, high yielding varieties of wheat and rice. So this program was implemented wherever the irrigation facility was assured, that is it is more in number, irrigation, that is water is more in number. So they started to increase the high yielding varieties. So they started to implement this type of program, and the result was very good. Why? Because it extended to cover a larger number of districts. So day by day, this high yielding varieties program has given a good result. How is nothing but it has covered a larger number of districts. While doing this only, what happens is green revolution was born because of this food grain production. So they started to introduce more and more high yielding varieties of food. So green revolution has been started, and it was implemented as a package. And apart from introduction of these food production, they also introduced fertilizer responsive high yielding varieties of rice and wheat, then some chemical fertilizers for the farmers. And not only all these things, they also gave cheaper farm credit for the farmers. Farm credits are nothing but some type of loans for the farmers to increase their fruit production. So for this, they had minimum support price for the crops. That is, the government announced minimum support price for the crops through the Food Corporation of India, that is called as FCI. So minimum support price is nothing but it is a fixed price by an expert group of people for a particular crop, that is by considering all the various costs which is involved in the growing season. So all those things and all, they'll keep it in the mind, and they'll be fixing a rate for the crop. So that is called as minimum support price, and it has been implemented through Food Corporation of India, FCI. And this FCI, what it does is they will get the the production from the farmers, and they'll be having huge storage godowns, and they will be storing it in the godowns, and excess stocks of these food grains and all will be distributed all through the year. Why? Because it is being stored in a godown. Not only food grains was produced, and it was also accompanied by some technological interventions in the dairy, poultry and fisheries sectors also. So all these things comprises, you all know that agriculture means green revolution. Then for fish, that is for milk, all those things and all, white revolution. Many revolution has occurred because of the food grains which has been available. And there comes a public distribution system. So the public distribution system is nothing but PDS, that is the ration shops. India has adopted universal PDS. Tamil Nadu has adopted universal PDS, but the rest of the states and all, it is having targeted PDS. Only Tamil Nadu has a universal PDS. So what is the the difference between universal PDS and targeted PDS is nothing but universal PDS is all the family ration card holders will be getting supplies from the PDS. So if you see the ration card, the back of the ration card will be having the names of the family members. So all the family members are entitled to get the supplies from the PDS. But as in the targeted PDS, only certain people are identified. Okay, certain people are identified below the poverty line, and the benefit is given to that concerned people alone. So that is called as targeted PDS. So with the help of PDS, the Food Corporation of India is just giving the excess stocks of the food grains to the people. And not only all those things, some consumer cooperatives are also there in order to increase the food security. So consumer cooperatives are nothing but it is organized by the consumers to achieve best price and quality in the goods they purchase. So all the consumers and all, they will be organizing a cooperative store called as consumer cooperative store, and they'll be having best price for that, that is a normal price for that, and the quality of the goods whatever they are selling also will be very good. So this scheme, that is consumer cooperative scheme, is playing an important role in food security of India. And next comes the purchasing power. Purchasing power, as I said, the power to purchase. So purchasing power is nothing but it is a value of a currency expressed in terms of the amount of goods and services that one unit of money can buy. That is, when the purchasing power declines, when it declines, when it is being decreased is nothing but when there is a increase in the price of the product, the purchasing power will be decreased, isn't it? So the people, they won't have enough money to buy that. If the product, if it is being sold in a high price, the people, they won't have enough money. So some of the factors which is there, which is affecting the purchasing power is nothing but, this is very important, it will answer, children. The factors are overpopulation. So population nowadays, day by day, since it has been increasing, so what happened, it affects the purchasing power in rural population as well as in urban also. Then comes the increasing prices of essential goods, that is very important goods and all. The prices nowadays, it has been increased since continuously the prices has been increased. So what is happening, the purchasing power decreases and it affects the poor people also. The poor people, they are not afford of buying certain essential goods. Then the third one is demand for goods. So when there is a demand for goods also, the purchasing power is being affected. Then the fourth one is price of goods affects the value of currency. So what happened, when the prices of the products are increased, the purchasing power decreases, as I said before. So because of the increase, the value of currency also decreases. Then comes the production and supply of goods. So production, as per the production, the supply of the goods also must be there. But the production and the supply, if it is being decreased, the price of the goods will be increased, isn't it? The demand will be there, so the price of the goods will be increased. So the purchasing power is affected. The last one is poverty and inequality. So you all know that 10% of the Indian goes on increasing. That is poverty level of the society is poverty level has been increased nowadays. So because of the poverty as well as inequality, that is unequal distribution of wealth, because of these two, purchasing power has been declined. Next comes the agricultural policy. So in order to maintain the fixed price of the product as well as the purchasing power and all, so India has adopted, that is central government in 2018 has adopted some agricultural policies, and that is to remove export restrictions in some of the organic and some processed agricultural products and all. So if these policies are being introduced in India, many imports will be there as well as exports will be there, thereby increasing the GDP level of the country. So we'll see what are those. So first one is raising the productivity of inputs. That is, whatever inputs are there, inputs is nothing but for agriculture you have to input more and more things. That is, you need high yielding variety of seeds, that is fertilizers, you need pesticides, water, power, so all those things and all. So these production to be increased, that is raising the productivity of inputs. Next comes raising value added per hectare. So per hectare, if you are just producing the agriculture product per hectare, you have to increase the value of these products. If these value of these products are increased, so what happens? Small marginal farmers also will be gaining. Then the third one is protecting the interest of poor farmers. So poor farmers, that is the marginal farmers, poor farmers and all, they will not have enough money in order to do their agricultural business. Agricultural process. So for that, some credit supports will be given to the farmers. So these are called as protecting the interest of poor farmers. Next comes the modernizing agricultural sector. So agricultural sector nowadays, it has been modernized. Technologically, many high yielding varieties of seeds and fertilizers are used. So likewise, agriculture will be modernized and high varieties, that is production will be increased. Then next is the environmental degradation. That is, this policy has set to check whether the environment has been degraded because of few Indian natural base of agriculture they wanted. So they doesn't want to degrade the environment. Then last comes the removing bureaucratic obstacles. That is nothing but cooperative societies and some self-help institutions will be there, which helps the farmers in order to remove these obstacles. That is many many barriers will be there for the farmers in order to give more and more production. So cooperative societies and many self-help groups will be there for helping them in order to remove these obstacles. Then next was one is multi-dimensional nature of poverty. So how the poverty is being will be taken away. So as I said before, poverty nowadays drastically it has been just declining both in rural and urban areas. So because of some policies and programs which has been implemented by the government of India as well as the other states, it has been taken away. Next comes the last part of this lesson is nothing but the nutrition and status health. That is, the food security includes nutrition security also. So nutrition status of the population is not improving nowadays. That is, food security is there but nutrition security is not there. So why? That is, it was stated by the National Family Health Survey. That is, why it is not there? Because in India many people are anemic, many are underweight, many stunted children are there. So both in rural as well as in urban areas. So these are between the age groups of 15 to 49. So because of this only, what happened, the status of nutrition nowadays it has been declining. So how to overcome all these things? Tamil Nadu government has implemented many many health and nutrition programs have been implemented by Indian government, that is the central government as well as the state governments. Central government, what are the nutrition schemes and programs are? Integrated Child Development Services, midday meals, reproductive and child health programs, National Rural Health Mission. So all those things have been introduced to eradicate the nutrition status, that is the lack of nutrition status in India. But in Tamil Nadu, so we have Puratchi Thalaivar MGR Nutritious Meal Program. It is considered one of the best in the country, which takes away the malnutrition of Tamil Nadu. Malnutrition is nothing but lack of nutrition in Tamil Nadu. So, and it is considered to be the largest known meal program in the country. And because of the noon meal, what happens is it increases primary school enrollment. So many children are enrolling nowadays for this noon meal. Why? Because you all know that poverty line is there in India, in Tamil Nadu also. So because of the food which is given in the school, these people are just, that is the primary school children are just enrolling themselves, and many dropout rates are being reduced nowadays. And some important nutritious program in Tamil Nadu they have given here, that is Puratchi Thalaivar MGR Nutrition Meal Scheme, then National Program of Nutritional Support to Primary Education, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana Scheme, then Tamil Nadu Integrated Nutrition Program, that is Midday Meal Scheme. So all these schemes are there which is improving the health of the children in order to gain them good education. So that's all about this lesson, children. So once again I wanted you to go through this lesson and just go for the exercises, mark it, and we'll see in the next class. We'll discuss it in the next class, children. Thank you.